Hello, this is Sandeep Unnithan and welcome to Defense Deep Dive. Will the US launch a ground invasion of Iran? Will boots on ground join the bombs from the air? Let's dive in. West Asia has been at war for over 10 days now. The US and Israel have targeted Iran under operations Epic Fury and Roaring Lion. Now, Iran has hit back with missile and drone attacks. Now, President Donald Trump earlier said he doesn't rule out a ground invasion of Iran. Now, the US calls this boots on ground. Now, US Army military manuals emphasize terrain analysis as one of the core elements of planning any military operations. So let's look at Iran's terrain. Iran is a large country. It's the 18th largest country in the world. It's the size of Iraq and Afghanistan put together. That's over 1.8 million square kilometers. Now, Iran is a natural fortress. It's ringed by mountains with deserts in the center. From the southwest to the northwest of Iran, you have the Zagros Mountains. That's a 1,600 kilometer wall of peaks that are as high as 13,000 feet. To the north of Iran, you have the Elburz Mountains. They are a steep barrier to the Caspian Sea. The Elburz have 18,000 feet high peaks. These are Himalayan heights. They're also military nightmares, these mountains, because invading armies have to enter through narrow mountain passes. And these narrow passes can be mined, ambushes can be laid, entire armies can be swallowed up. And in the center of Iran, you have the deserts, the Dasht-e-Kavir salt flats south of Tehran and the Dasht-e-Lut. Now, these deserts, they're vast, they're uninhabitable. There's mud, sand dunes, extreme heat, dust storms, and most importantly, no water. It's a military nightmare. Now, these deserts are where a US Special Forces attempt to rescue hostages held at the US Embassy failed in 1980. Operation Eagle Claw, as it was called. Now, Iran's infrastructure is also limited. The country has few highways and railway lines, but as I've described, there are plenty of choke points. Now, coming to the boots on ground, the US-led coalition that invaded Iraq in 2003 had close to 170,000 soldiers. They were supported by hundreds of warplanes and 6 carrier strike groups. In 2026, the US has just 2 carrier strike groups in theater and a third one is on its way. But that's still not enough. And to add to that, the US has no large body of troops in theater, no divisions that it can count on. And neither can it bank on troops from Iran's bordering states, Turkey, Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, or Kyrgyzstan. These may be friendly to the United States, but they're certainly not going to send troops. And finally, the enemy forces. Iran may have lost its navy and its air force, but its ground forces are untouched. That's really important because Iran has over 500,000 soldiers, its army. It has hundreds of thousands of IRGC and Basij militias. That's close to 1 million men at arms that could fiercely resist any invasion. Hence, a full-scale US ground invasion of Iran is widely viewed by military analysts and experts as extremely unlikely and potentially disastrous. It's somewhere that the US has already been in 2003 and even before that in Afghanistan, and later, of course, Iraq. But what might happen in Iran is some kind of limited ground action. For instance, US forces might seize and hold Kharg Island. That's a small but strategically important island that's situated about 25 kilometers off Iran's coast in the Persian Gulf. It is Iran's most important oil terminal. In fact, 90% of Iranian oil exports flow out of Kharg Island. Option number 2, there could be joint US Special Forces with Israeli Special Forces, which could launch missions to seize Iranian nuclear material. Option number 3, Kurdish militias teaming up with US Special Forces to seize specific objectives. That was done in Afghanistan in December 2001, when you saw the CIA's Special Activities Center team up with Afghanistan's Northern Alliance. Now, these limited actions that I outlined might also become long-term covert action playbook, where the US looks at sowing internal dissension within Iran to engineer long-term regime instability. But boots on the ground is a BOG, a BOG, that the United States will stay away from in Iran.